Hello everyone! Hello. This is Captain Soban. Welcome aboard to Starship Norma Prize for another episode of SimCity 3000, this time with mods. And this mod that I'm working on, kind of just developing myself, this is kind of like a test series for the mod, so as we go through this series, I'll be making some small adjustments and whatnot to it. And I've done a little bit of research in between episodes, and I finally figured out what the tax brackets and everything did. So in the last episode, I did kind of explain how I figured out what the small, medium, and a high, or low, medium, and high tax brackets are. The way it works is in the coding, you set the tax bracket of default, which for in this mod I've set to 10%. And then every percentage below that will add 500 jobs into the RCI demand, depending on which tax bracket you adjust. And it keeps stacking, so as you keep going lower, like if you set taxes to 7, it'll give 3 buffs, which will be 1,500 additional jobs, and I believe if you go down to 6, it will consider it low taxes, because low taxes is when you are 4% below the maximum medium taxes, and it will continue adding 500 as you could make the taxes go low and lower. Now if you go above 10%, like if you go up to 11%, that is considered high taxes, and every percentage above 10 will reduce the amount of demand of that particular group by 5,000. So if you set it to 11, you'll have a negative 5,000 demand. You set it to 12, you have a negative 10,000 demand, so on and so forth. So that's how the taxes work. And then balance is 10%, because 10% is when it's considered even. So there's no additional jobs and whatnot will be created, but also you won't lose any jobs. So we're going to go ahead and set everything to 9%. This will get us back up in the positives, and we'll still have a 500 additional demand to help the city grow more. And what's interesting is when I was looking in the coding, as the city gets larger, these demands change. So like I think the first trigger is 40,000. It makes it to where 6 is now the highest medium demand you can have instead of 7. And I think they make it to where you get like 1,500 jobs per tick, and then you lose like 7,000 or 9,000. And then next I think is like 80,000, which makes it to where 5 is now the max, and you get like 1,000 I think per level below 6. And then you lose like 11,000 jobs above that. That's how they have it set. I've just synced it up to where 10 is the maximum taxes you should have. Anything below 10, you'll get 500 more jobs. Anything above 10, you'll lose 5,000 more jobs. So yeah, that's how all that works. And I've also done a few more adjustments of the trade deals. I've adjusted it to where garbage would be the lowest amount you make, power would be the most, and water would kind of be in between. I've also adjusted it to where they are 3 times higher than what it's currently set to, because since you can only have 3 neighbor deals, and I wanted to make it to where you can have it for all your neighbors, it's like kind of really difficult to set that up without it thinking that you can have like 3 power deals from one neighbor, because it's just a number. It's just a number in the system. There's no way to tell it to where this neighbor deal, or this neighbor will give me 1 of each, this neighbor will give me 1 of each, this neighbor will give me 1 of each. There's no way to actually adjust that. So that was my compromise. So what we're currently going to do, because another thing I learned about neighbor deals in between episodes is that I thought they were based off of like a percentage of how much population you have compared to how much population your neighbor has. That is wrong. It is based off a percentage of your population. And so basically once your city grows to a certain point, it's good to cancel your current deals and let them refresh next month. So you can get more money and they get better deals and whatnot, so you can be prepared for when the neighbor deals start going up higher. I can't remember, or I should say I haven't found the refresh rate when it comes to neighbor deals. If I do find it, I want to make it towards like once every maybe 1 or 2 years, instead of I think like once every 5 years, I think is what it's currently set to. So yeah, lots and lots of discoveries going on as we make this mod. So let's go ahead and get rid of this deal. We were accepting 100 tons of garbage for $32. This has also been adjusted because I made it to where 25 tons is now like one notch in the deal, because we pay at this current deal $8 for 25 tons. This isn't. I've been messing around with this in the background, so it's messed up the how this actually works right now. So we kind of have to refresh this. Because originally I think this was 100 for $8. Yeah, I think that's how it originally was. So yeah, let's go ahead and cancel this deal. And then we're going to do the same thing with the power. We only have to pay a penalty of $50. Good, good, good. And then same thing with the water. Penalty of $75. So yeah, I'll explain that a little bit more next month whenever the new neighbor deals come in. That was something else I adjusted. And I also adjusted auroras a little bit, kind of just tweaked them around and made them a little bit more sense. I also made it to where crime now affects your aurora, which was kind of weird because I was looking into it and I think it was like -4 was like the maximum amount of aurora that dropped when you have a house that's full of crime. When pollution I think goes down to -300, if pollution in that tile was maxed out. So I was like, that sounds off. So I set it to -25, and we're gonna kind of like play around with that and see how it adjusts the aurora. It's gonna lower it more because we don't have any way to stop crime, but that's gonna be something going on. And I also adjusted fire, because apparently if you have like a tile protected by fire, it only increases the aurora by 10, which makes it kind of useless to have fire protection if it doesn't actually affect land value or aurora that much. So I think I may adjust it to where it goes up by 30 if a tile is protected. Again, something else we'll play around in the future when the city gets bigger. Oh, and I also adjusted the severity of how much money you get from taxes. The reason I did this is because I'm making it to where having higher tax levels is more standard. So, wow, our estimated number went way. Oh, that's because we have to pay the penalty for the neighbor deals. Once our new neighbor deals come in, that should be much better. But that's probably also adjusting for this. So by default, you would get, if this was set to 100%, I think the way it's set, or the way that it reads it, you would have 35 per house on residential. You would have, I believe, 40 for commercial and 45 for industrial. I reduced that down to 25 for residential, I think 30 for commercial, and 35 for industrial. I just reduced them all by like 5%. And the reason why is just, well, again, I'm kind of like messing around with this and messing around with some numbers. It was interesting to see that you get a lot more industrial, taxes than anything else. But I think that's also based off of how many jobs they produce, because I think that's the population value of how the game calculates that stuff. So since you're always going to have more residential than commercial industrial we're a little bit higher to like balance everything out. So yeah, I might be messing around more of those as the city grows. But that's enough talking about all of the adjustments that happened. Let's go ahead and go through the city. So we have 3,221 megawatts that we're currently using from our power plant, which is good. That's also including the neighbor deal that's going to be refreshing next month. What do we have for our hospital? 672. Yeah, still doing really, really good. Schools are still doing good too. We're still growing. And once I get taxes like where I want them to be, then we can start adjusting more of the expenses of stuff like this. I did find out there's some coding for expenses when it comes to like your water towers and your power plants and stuff like that. I don't think I'm going to be implementing that in the mod, because I like the idea that power plants are very expensive, and your maintenance cost for your power plant is paying off the loan to buy the power plant for your city. So I like that idea, and especially since these ones are going to last like 60, 70 years, since the loan is 30 years. To me, it's kind of like owning a car, where you purchase a new car, you put it on loan, you pay it for 5 years, and then after that, you probably will have like maybe 5, 6, or 7 additional years before you need to replace it for a better car. So I like that idea. I like that putting that concept into how like power plants work and whatnot. But anyways, let's get into the game. So we have a very high residential demand, low negative commercial demand, and additional industrial demand. Now with the changes I made to like the demands based off how taxes and whatnot work, these are going to take an entire year to balance out based off of the new stuff I put in. Because this is an average based off of data from a year ago, which is really interesting. I really like how the game does that. That's a good way to balance itself out, especially when we have issues where all the residents decide to run away because the town is too sad for them, which is kind of sad, but we'll see what happens. Also, because of the how much crime do these guys have? That's low right now? Okay. So they shouldn't like completely abandon themselves. Anyways, let's get into the game. There we go, we're back. I accidentally minimized the game and it was just like, I don't want to work anymore. Oh god, and I just realized. Okay, let's get all of this going. Experts call power supply adequate. Okay, so we're actually at that point where we are considered a medium power supply. And I can't remember if I said if I adjusted those in the last episode. I've been adjusting a lot of things in between episodes, but I made it to where water and power is considered medium levels at 35% capacity. They're considered high levels at 80% capacity, and they're considered critical levels at 95% capacity. Make everything historical. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and developing this mod has been quite some fun. I'm so happy that I'm getting like really good when it comes to like modding things. Like a lot of my old games I used to play as a kid, I now know how to mod, which makes me want to play around with them and play them again, but in like a modern way, putting like modern twists and stuff on it. So, but hopefully we can get this city up to 13,000 maybe. That would be pretty cool. Alright, is that everything? That is. Fantastic. Continue. And we only have that there in the middle to really worry about. We're at 9. And I believe we are considered average still. Yes, we are. Fantastic. So that is working perfectly. It should still consider us average until we put it up to 11. Hehe. Alrighty. Bloop, 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 bloop. This area is developing very quickly because we have a very high residential demand. It should drop a little bit, not much. What is our unemployment? Or not, yeah, unemployment, 5%. And we have that high of a residential demand. Okay. Good to know. Let's let this month go by. Boop, boop, boop. But yeah, I kind of want to apologize about the lack of uploads on the channel. Things have been really busy and things have been quite chaotic, and me and my girlfriend are starting to get pretty serious with our relationship, so we've been like dedicating days to like talk to each other and see each other. On that day I don't do anything, but I talk to her, so which is kind of cutting into YouTube time, but it is very important to make sure that your girlfriend has the attention she needs to get through her day, so I've been providing that to mine, and I'm very, very happy in my relationship, so I do not plan to make her upset in any way, shape, or form. But anyways, we are the next month. We are up to 12,300. I think we went up an entire 1,000 population. Holy crap. Unemployment's still 5, but unemployment also only tells you the last month, not this month's. So that's probably going to go up because industry did grow up a little bit. Commercial didn't, but yeah. And so far it looks like our demands haven't really changed a whole lot, but it's also been only 1 month. So yeah, and our amount of power we use went down because we canceled the neighbor deal. Okay. Let's see how everything is doing. 2,860 on you, 718 on the hospital. Still doing very good. Water is up to 2,920. So yeah, I'm still kind of like finding a solution to manage a full-time job, manage taking care of a girlfriend, and trying to run 2 YouTube channels all at the same time. It is a little bit stressful, but I'll figure it out. Hopefully over time there'll be more and more videos on both channels popping up. Just, yeah, just a lot going on right now. But anyways, okay, how's the budget doing? We definitely went up more, especially residential. Good, good. Cool. And let's see, we still have a high residential demand. This area is still being developed, so I want that to keep happening. Industry is basically developed over here, so we might have to expand you again. How much are you gonna cost? Oh god, oh god! It's 1,000 for the expansion. Okay. Uh, 420. We also need water. Let's bring you up here and bring you over there. Alright. So we have industry, commercial we don't have to worry about. We still have a zone that needs to be developed, but we don't have a commercial demand, so that's perfectly fine. And residential is still being developed over here. Alright, cool. So let's let this play for a couple days and we should get our new neighbor deals. Boop, 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 boop. Make all of this industry historical. There we go. This should pop up over here momentarily. Come on. Give me the new deals. There they go. Alright, let's take a look at these. So we have new power deal. These cities sure grow fast, don't they? Seems like just yesterday, Marionville was a teeny dot on the map of SimNation. Now we're bulging at the seams and our power needs are shockingly high. Ran out of space to build new power plants and want to make a deal to buy power from Merlapitia. Because we're such good neighbors, I'll offer to pay you $36 each month to provide 900 megawatts of power. Much higher than our previous one. Since we're counting on the power you sell each month, if you terminate the deal without our consent, we'll charge you a penalty of $900. So yeah, it's definitely much higher than the previous one. And 900 would be around 30% more capacity we have to handle. I've been trying to gauge the neighbor deals to be anywhere between 25% to 35% of the current power demand of where you should be around whatever population you're at when you do the neighbor deal. So yeah, we're going to accept that one. And then we have the water deal. Mariondale has been growing like a weed, a mighty thirsty weed. I just can't keep up the increasing demand for water. So I'm coming to you with a proposal, Mayor Captain Soban. Would you sell us some water? We'll pay you $33 per month, that's less than the power deal, if you supply us with 1,100 cubic meters of water. So the demand is a little bit higher, but the pay is a little bit lower because power is not quite, or water is not quite as valuable as power, as I would see in SimCity. For any reason you should terminate this deal, you would pay us $825. So that would be 1,100 on top of what we currently use, which is 2,900, bringing us up to 4,100, which is, I think, closer to 35%, but that's still like well within our budget. So yeah, I'll accept that one. And then our new one, another one is the garbage deal. Here, Captain Soban, it'd be nice to find extra funds deposited in your treasury each month. I propose a deal. I'd like you to dispose of Mariondale's excess trash each month, and we offer to pay you 28, which is less than the water and less than the power, for your service. We need you to dispose of about 175 tons a month, though the amount we pay you may rise as our city grows. It always says that, but in the coding, I think it's more or less our city. I have to look at it a little bit closer. Beware that if you terminate the deal without our consent, you'll have to pay $700. So 175. The best way we could check for how much garbage we consume is right here. Let me go ahead and bring up my calculator, which I think is already working. Yeah, it did. All right. So we are at 8,582. Divide that by 12. And then we're at 715. We're going to go ahead and minus that by 100 because that's still in the calculation, because this takes an entire year for that calculation to go out. So we're at 615, and they're going to add 175, bringing us up to 790. And that would be, let's see if we calculate this correctly, 28% more to our capacity. Again, in between 25 and 35, which is what that's supposed to be. Okay. So let's go ahead and activate that deal. I accept your terms, wise man. So we are making $36 a month from power, 33 from water, and 28 from garbage. So that's kind of what you expect when you do neighbor deals in my mod. So really, really cool. And that will bring our budget up to 731 that we're making from neighbor deals, which is actually, that's a decent amount. I'm not gonna lie. That's a decent amount. It's much more than our commercial. Not quite as much as our industrial, and not as much as residential. So it's a good chunk. It is. Let's see. We bring up our calculator. We're making $3,264 altogether. We need to do 731 divided by 3,264. That is 22% of our budget coming in from our neighbor deal. I can handle that. That's a decent amount, but it's still not so much where it feels overpowered like it did in the original. Okay. So let's go ahead and let the month go by. I think the only thing we have... Yeah, the residential's all developed. We just have the industry developing. Loss projected. Sims want answers, not excuses. It's all good. Don't worry about it. Boom, 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 boom. Boo, 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 boo. Alright, now we can just let this go. got one little area. Deal to sell power. Oh. Our funds are dwindling. Sell power to make money. I don't know if I ever actually seen that one before. Then again, when I used to play this in vanilla, I never really did the power neighbor deal because it was just so ridiculous at how much power you had to supply to your neighbor. Where now it feels a lot more balanced. Not gonna develop that last spot? Nope. Okay, so we're at 12,605 population. Not bad. This area is basically completely developed, which is nice. We did have a commercial business that went out. Actually, we have a few going out because we did aggressively expand this area here, which is fine. It'll get better. But let's see how everything looks now with the neighbor deals going. We're up to 4,000 megawatts being used by our oil power plant, which we're just a little bit under half capacity. So we still have plenty of power left before we get the capacity on that guy. We're 9% on garbage. It's going to take a year for this to... Actually, I think it takes a couple years for a landfill to get fully saturated. But it shouldn't get too much bigger. I think we're still doing pretty good there. And then, where is water? You should be a little bit over 4,000. You are. Fantastic. And hospitals is up to 735. They're just a little bit over 1/3 capacity, so just fine. Schools are getting there. If this was vanilla, our school would basically be at full capacity, but since my schools have 4,500, they can go a lot higher before needing another one. All right, and then now I think the next thing we need to do is take out another loan because we have more residential demand and I want to expand residential over here. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. We are in a positive now because of our new neighbor deals. So we should be able to afford another 5,000 loan. What's that bring us up to for our debt? With that new loan taken out, we are almost done paying the interest on our first loan, which is fantastic. So that's 10,020, I should say. Next one's 5,175. And then 10,620. And then our new one, which is 5,400. $31,215 in the hole. We pay $990 for our loans. We actually pay more for our loans now than we do for our hospital for our city. Oop, baby. It's gonna get expensive soon. As long as I didn't have to do that, dang it. It's fine. Everything is totally hunky-dory. Let's go ahead and get rid of all these trees. There we go. Do we need pipes? We do not. Fantastic. Okay, so that's all good to go. We still have a commercial area that will eventually develop one day, and we have an industrial area down here that is currently developing. Fantastic. Let the game run for a couple days, and we'll go through and start doing the thing. You know, overall, I would say that things in my life are going pretty good. I am not complaining about anything at all. I've gotten along really well with my coworkers at work. In fact, some of them I think are starting to look up to me as a friend who actually, you know, helps people vent and helps them like learn things about what they need to do to get their life straight. So everything is going very good, and I'm very, very happy with the direction my life is going. And I'm very, very excited for the future, especially with my girlfriend. We, I can't stop thinking about, you know, how amazing she is and how awesome she is, and I'm just very excited for the future to one day be with her. Because right now, I'm not going to go too much into details because this is her private life, and you know, I don't really want to, you know, talk too much about her private life over the internet. But she is helping her aunt right now, and at the moment, the thing that she's doing with her aunt is taking a lot of her time and a lot of her focus, and it can be frustrating at times because we're both long distance right now, but it is what it is, and we found ways to deal with it, and very excited for the day that her aunt gets fully recovered and we finally get to start focusing more on each other. So that's the future, and it's gonna be a very lovely future. Boop 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 boop. All right, waiting for more of this to develop. Well, hopefully once we figure everything out, I'll be able to have more time for YouTube stuff. I am starting to find a schedule, starting to find a way that works to where I can keep everything happy and then continue working on my hobbies when everything is like under control. But yeah, hopefully soon we'll get more videos going on both channels. I'm gonna stick with having 4 videos on the second channel because I'm trying to do 6 or 7 on the main channel on top of that, and that is about my limit, especially when we have really busy days at work and I have to work overtime, and I'm just like, I'm just so exhausted, I just want to sleep. And then like working, there's like those days where I get like 9 or 10 hours and you just come home, you're like, oh yeah, and you got 2 videos and need to go up on tomorrow, and you're like, it's already 9 o'clock and I just want bed. I just don't have a way to like force myself to like to do that extra work, to like stay up to 12 and 1 in the morning, like getting done with work and then trying to work on YouTube. And at the moment, obviously my channels are really small, so it's kind of difficult to have that motivation if you're not really making a lot of money on it, I guess I should say. Even though I shouldn't be motivated by money. It's not how art works, but it is a good motivator. If you're making like $5 a month on something, and you would feel much more motivated if you're making $500 a month on it, but it is what it is. Hoping things eventually like balance themselves out and everything will fall into place and it will be amazing. I think that's about all I can do over there in the residential area. We just have to wait for the commercial area to start developing more, which I think it did. Yeah, I think I blew one up. It's fine. It's all fine. Burr, burr, burr. Burr, 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 burr. What do we have going on down here? Here we are. Get you going. What else do we got? Aha, you have been remade. Industry is developing very quickly. And then we have 3 more. Are they going to develop by the end of the month? I don't think they're going to. Okay. Ooh, now we have a very high residential demand again. Nice. We're up to 12,831 residential. Let's take a look at some of our graphs. Unemployment is 7%, even though we have a very high residential demand. Intriguing. But that's also last month's data too, so... Excuse me, sorry about that. We have 6,200 industry, 12, good gravy, excuse me, 12,800 residential and 1,100 commercial. We also have a commercial demand again, which is nice. Nice to see. How is the budget doing? We have a profit, or we're making a profit of 166. We are currently at negative 224 on our current cash flow, so we're going up by about 380, which is nice. It is very nice to see, especially this late into the year. So that means next year we're going to have a pretty good profit going on, which is going to be fantastic. Consuming 4,100 power, still 9% on garbage, and we're 4,150 on water. Fantastic. Everything is looking really, really good. How are we doing on you guys? 2,900 on our school, and we are 2,100, or sorry, 750 on our hospital. Just a little bit above 1/3 of the capacity. So cool. Everything is looking good. It's very, very good to see. Industry is basically just going to be really developing this this month, so we're going to just focus completely on our residentials. Might start adding parks then. I don't know. Is there any like rewards or anything we got yet? Nope, not yet. Okay, so yep, let's just continue growing the city. We're gonna definitely make 13,000 by the end of this episode. Hopefully we make maybe 14,000. That would be really, really cool. So there is a save I have on a very old computer. I still have my very first gaming computer that was made in 1997. It still works. It's in my my area, office, closet. I don't know what I call this area. But anyways, it has a save that I called the Holy Roman Empire. The reason why I called it that is because I literally just made it to where whatever money I had at the end of the month, that's what I used to expand. And I basically like did this little playthrough of keeping about as much money in the treasury as I have population, because I found out that that replacing the power plants and whatnot was going to be my only thing that was like really that I would have to save up for. So like if I made $1,000 at the end of the year, I would spend 500 on expanding the city, and then the other 500 would just go into treasury to replace the power plants and whatnot if they blew up. That strategy worked really good. I think I got that city up to like 60,000 population. And I think it was like year 2050 or something, because it took a really long time to expand, because I could only expand like a few zones every year. Especially when I first started it, when I didn't have a whole lot of population or a whole lot of income coming in. But that's what I did as a 10-year-old child. I played with numbers and budgets. Which is amazing, because to this day I still love doing that. Like, I'm one of the few people that I know in real life who will literally open an app on my phone to watch the stock market, and I'll just watch the numbers go up and down like all day. Like, that would be my entertainment for the day. Like, people will watch YouTube videos or watch TikTok or watch like shorts of these like funny clips and whatnot. Nope, for me, my entertainment is to open the stock market app and watch the numbers go up and down. I am very, very simple-minded. Alright, almost got this entire area zoned. How are we doing over here? I think we do still have we do have one that got built and needs to be historical. There we are. We still got 2 more. I don't expect commercial to develop. Like, I think right now the numbers are high enough to where they won't abandon. Not really high enough to really do anything. Do 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 do. Boo 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 boo. There we go. We got a handful of those left. That one has 2 left. Well, they got all developed at once. Fantastic. Alright, now we just need those 2 industrial spots to develop. And they're not going to develop this month. Okay, fair enough. Alright, it is now September. We still have a very, very high residential demand. How is our unemployment is 6, even with that high of residential demand. So residential is doing very, very good. And again, that could be the adjustments I made to the tax bracket stuff. So it's good to see. We're 13,241 population, so we did break 13,000. Fantastic. We have 6,600 industry, and we have 1,062 commercial. Things are looking pretty good. Budget-wise, how are we doing? Year-to-date cash flow is negative 137. Our estimated is 211, so looking good. Those are looking really good. We're 1,400 on residential and 1,000 on industry. 153 on commercial. Not bad. Not bad at all. All right, let's go through our monthly checks on everything. Power's at 5,000 or 4,200. Looking good, looking good. Garbage is at 10%, so garbage is going up. Don't really have to worry about that until it gets like 80% or something. 4,195 on water, that's doing fine. 775 on hospitals and 3,081 on schools. So if we didn't have the adjustments that I made in my mod, we would be having to build a second school right now. So cool. Which is about where it normally is. 13,000 I think is the limit on the vanilla schools. Or mine I believe is about 18,000, 18 to 20,000. Somewhere around there. Alright, so we have a very high residential demand. Most of this area over here needs to be developed, so we're just gonna let that go. Commercial still hasn't developed their area, so we're good there. And industry is still developing their area. There's a couple areas here that I forgot to make historical. Oh, because they developed literally on the first day of this month. So nice. Okay, so since we have a low industry demand, we're going to kind of just let industry develop the way it's supposed to. And same thing with residential, we're going to get more of that developed. Continue growing the city. So everything's looking good. I don't think we really need any parks because we have a really high residential demand. How are we looking on like pollution? We're at 7 right now. Okay. Traffic is going up, but still not too bad. Crime is 24, which is kind of where it's been stagnating. All right, let's continue. Let's get through this month. Boo, boo. Boo, boo, boo. 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 Sims everywhere agree. We're the best in news, ticker, entertainment. The Piccini can't be beat. By Kanye. One of those words is the right words. Tommy B Safe says, return seats and trays to their proper upright position. We have landed. We have landed in the European country of Europena. I have no idea. I don't think that's an actual country. That's just me making up words. Bloop, 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 bloop. Oh, sweet. So now we're up to 13,528 population. Fantastic. Industry is still developing, but it's probably enough to expand now, which is great. We up to almost 4,300 on power, 10% on garbage. Looking good, looking good. On water, we are almost 4,200. 3,146 on schools and almost 800 on hospitals. Still looking good, and budget-wise, we're almost in the positives. But for the end of year, but estimated cash flow is still $219, which is fantastic. And also, we're gonna get a big boost because this right here for our negatives on neighbor deals was from the expiring the contracts early. So yeah, money-wise, we're gonna be looking really, really good here shortly. All right, so so I think for industry, we're gonna start expanding this way. Yeah, because I think for residential, I'm gonna expand here, and then start expanding towards industry. So, how big are you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus road. $1,477. Ooh, baby. Who knew that carving a path in a mountain was so expensive? Here we go. It now has water. And we're going to do the same thing up here for the residential area. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus oh, it's all flat. Never mind. We do need to demolish these. We will rebuild them here in a moment. Boop, boop. Hello. Residential down. And you guys, we don't need anymore. Cool. Yep. It just goes straight through because this is going straight to the water guy. Our little water pumps. Okay. Fantastic. Let us continue. And I'm pretty sure a lot of this residential is going to develop because most of this was powered because there used to be power lines. We only have a small industrial area compared to the residential area. This is going to be interesting. Traffic problems plague Merlapatia. Really? Well, I mean, traffic is going up, but we are expanding with more roads. City's stuck in traffic. Let's get on the bus. Well, buses aren't invented yet, so you're just gonna have to deal with it. Also apologize about the weird, like, glitchy stuff going on. I am playing this in a VM, and sometimes the VM likes to be a little hesitant. Likes to call Doki Doki Literature Club on us, which is a fantastic game. I played that. I watched so many series on it. Come to the conclusion that I don't really like a whole lot of horror stuff, but I love like that type of horror where it's like psychological, where it gets inside your head. It is so amazing to me. Boop, boop, boop. For some reason, I don't know why, but I have like one of these brains that like somehow magically heal themselves. The best way I can describe it is when I get really, really emotional, when like something new pops in my head and I get really emotional about it and I have to like think over it over and over. I have like this therapist inside my head, I guess you can call it, that will like talk to me and will like somehow figure out my brain, and then like these like mental problems that like people have that sometimes take them weeks or months to figure out and decipher to get them back to normal, I get done in like days. Like, I think the one thing that really took me a long time to get over was I think this happened a couple of years ago where I was gonna go on a date with this woman, and we bonded over like manga and whatnot, and eventually found out that we both like really find our company really nice, and we were gonna go on a date. And so we originally were gonna go out like that weekend, but some reason something came up and then she wasn't available that weekend, so we were gonna do next weekend. So we kept messaging each other and I kept like talking back and forth, and then I did like find out that she wasn't communicating as much as me and as I was communicating to her, so I kind of had a feeling something was up. And so when the day of the date actually happened, she ended up canceling on me, and oh my god, I literally cried for an entire day straight, because she was like the first woman that ever gave me those I want you eyes, and I never encountered that before in my entire life, so I didn't know how to react. And it took me, I cried for an entire day, but I had to do like a lot of thinking, and I had that like weird therapist like thing pop in my head to help me out. And about a week later, I was back to normal after like falling in love with this girl and wanting to go out with her and being rejected by her. When feeling like deeply in love with her, because I do fall pretty quickly. It's kind of why I'm really happy that my current girlfriend understands that, and she knows that obviously we trust each other and she's the only one for me and all that. But she knows that I crush on things easily. So she's always there to like slap me in the face and be like, no, remember, you're with me. I'm like, oh, okay, girl. So it's a lot of fun. There we go, a little bit more. Oh, how's the industrial area doing? Good. Not much development, but hey, it's something. Almost done with the month. So close. So friggin' close. And we are... Come on. There we go. We are now done. We are just short of 14,000 population. 13,953 is where we ended up on. Fantastic. We still have a couple more commercial areas that need to get back from development, and then the rest of the commercial area can start developing. But cool. Things are looking really good. We still have a pretty solid residential demand. It's starting to balance out with more industrial demand going in. But let's take one last look at all of our stuff. 4,333 on power. This should, still be 10%, which is good. Water is at 4,234. Schools are at 3,250. Hospitals at 820. And let's go ahead and check our budget. We are in the positives. We made $45 this year. We're on targeted to get 231. So good. Everything is looking really, really good. View our data real quick. We're up to 1,116 commercial, so that has been going up. That is good. We are at 6,974 industry and 13,953 residential. Our unemployment level is 7. That is a little bit higher than I want it to be, but it is still looking good. That's probably going to go up higher since residential is going down. But crime is at 25. Traffic is iffy, but everything is looking good. How much are we paying for roads now? 420? Sounds about right. But cool. Our city is slowly progressing. And hopefully we'll continue making changes in the mod as I see appropriate, but things are looking good. I'm liking the fact that 9 on taxes is like normal. And as the city grows, I may adjust how much money we get per building from taxes, since I finally figured out how to do that. But right now, we'll keep it the way it is and see how I want to adjust it, because we still don't have like libraries or police stations or anything like that. So it would be good to have a decent budget before we start playing around more of taxes and stuff. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoy this. It's been a lot of fun. I really do enjoy making this series. SimCity 3000 is like one of my favorite games, so I'm really happy that we have a YouTube series for it, and I'm really happy I know how to mod it now. So yeah, I get to have some fun with that classic that I grew up with. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoy this. If you did, please leave a like. If you like what I do, consider subscribing. If you want to see more of me, I have the main channel in the video description called Captain Soban. It's the main channel. I was doing my outro I usually do for the other channel. And I play space and strategy games there, like Homeworld and Star Ruler, Sword of the Stars, like games like that. Sins 2, that's another game that's on that channel. And I also stream on Twitch. At the moment, I only stream on Thursdays. I used to stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but Tuesdays is now girlfriend days. So that is the day where I spend the entire day with my girlfriend and we just hang out and do things. So I only stream on Thursdays now. But I stream with Meat. We play strategy. No, we don't play strategy games. We play crafting and survival games. Space Engineers, 7 Days to Die, Paul World are kind of like examples of games that we play. It's a lot of fun. You guys should come and join us. And if you want to support me even further, I have the link in the video description to my girlfriend's Instagram account. She is a commission artist who does commission for other people for a living. She just likes spreading happiness and joy to other people, and she believes the best way to do that is through art, which I completely agree. Her art is amazing. If you guys can't afford to commission her, it is perfectly fine. But if you would follow her and give and let her and send her a message saying she's an awesome, amazing person, that would be greatly appreciated. But until next time, this is Captain Soban signing out.